A red dawn broke over the Pacific as the Maya sliced through choppy waters, her steel hull gleaming with menace. At the outbreak of World War II, this Takao-class heavy cruiser embodied Imperial Japan's naval might, a floating fortress of iron and fire. The seas of Southeast Asia became her hunting grounds. In 1942, off the coast of Java, Maya's 10 8-inch guns roared to life, ambushing an enemy vessel. The British HMS Stronghold never stood a chance. As the British ship vanished beneath the waves, Maya's crew savored invincibility. But empires built on blood are destined to fall. The Americans came with a vengeance in their hearts and carriers at their backs. Naval warfare shifted beneath Japan's feet as aircraft carriers replaced battleships as queens of the sea. Maya, once the apex predator, now found herself prey to swarms of US warplanes blotting out the sun. In a desperate gambit, Maya was torn apart and reforged. Her massive guns were ripped away. In their place sprouted a bristling forest of anti-aircraft weaponry. Japan had created a porcupine at the seas, praying it could constrict American air superiority. As Maya steamed towards Leyte Gulf with Admiral Kurita's center force, the fate of an empire hung in the balance. But the fate of Maya would emerge from where she least expected it. Born from a fiery ambition to dominate the oceans, the Japanese cruiser Maya was a testament to raw power and relentless engineering. Her inception, driven by a vision to elevate Japan's naval might, resulted in a warship designed for speed, ferocity, and unyielding versatility. On December 4th, 1928, the keel of Maya was laid down at Kawasaki Heavy Industries in Kobe. From the moment she touched the water on November 8th, 1930, then joined the fleet on June 30th, 1932, it was clear that Maya was a modern powerhouse of a ship. Her mission was to efficiently engage enemy vessels, fend off aerial assaults, and unleash devastating torpedo attacks. Maya was crafted to sail alongside the mightiest battleships, her guns blazing and engines roaring, ready to tear through any adversary that dared cross her path. Maya was a massive project, boasting a standard displacement of 10,000 tons, swelling to a staggering 13,400 tons when fully armed and loaded. She stretched 203 meters from bow to stern, her 19-meter beam cutting an imposing figure through the water with a draft of 6.32 meters. Her propulsion system was composed of 4 geared steam turbines and 12 camp-on boilers, propelling her to a blistering top speed of 35.5 knots. Maya could prowl the seas with relentless endurance, with a cruising range of 8,000 nautical miles at 14 knots. Her armament was nothing short of terrifying. Outfitted with 10 8-inch 50 third-year type naval guns and 5 twin turrets, Maya's firepower was designed to shatter enemy hulls with ease. Her anti-aircraft defenses, including 8 12.7cm 40 Type 89 dual-purpose guns and a myriad of smaller caliber weapons, made her a mighty guardian against aerial threats. The 8 610mm torpedo tubes, armed with the infamous Type 93 Long Lance torpedoes, transformed Maya into a predator lurking beneath the waves, ready to strike with lethal precision. Maya's armor was forged to endure the chaos of battle. A central belt up to 127mm thick, a 35mm armored deck, and 25mm turret armor shielded her vital components from the fury of enemy fire. Her relentless evolution saw significant upgrades throughout her service. Technological advancements kept Maya at the cutting edge of naval warfare. The integration of radar systems sharpened her eyes and extended her reach. In early 1942, the Imperial Japanese Navy, with the fierce cruiser Maya at its heart, was hell-bent on tightening its grip over the newly conquered territories. Maya's mission was clear: provide brutal naval gunfire support for amphibious landings, shield Japanese shipping lanes, and annihilate any Allied forces daring enough to interfere. On March 2, 1942, the hunt began. Maya's float planes, sweeping the waters near Java, Indonesia, caught sight of HMS Stronghold. Like sharks sensing blood, Maya and her escorts, the destroyers Arashi and Nawaki, closed in on the aging British destroyer and mine layer. The Stronghold, a battle-worn veteran from the Royal Navy's China Station, was desperately attempting to escape after the catastrophic fall of Singapore and the Dutch East Indies. Weary from escorting the Dutch vessels on Dam and thwarting marauding submarines, the Stronghold limped towards Western Australia, her speed painfully capped at 12 knots due to a lack of fuel. Maya, a predator in her prime, spotted her prey. With a sinister grace, she moved to engage. Her superior firepower and speed brought her swiftly within striking distance, her primary batteries trained and ready. The captain of Stronghold, realizing the imminent doom, ordered evasive maneuvers and fired back with the ship's 4.7-inch guns. But the effort, though valiant, was futile against Maya's might. The cruiser's 8-inch guns unleashed a hellish barrage, the thunder of their salvos echoing across the sea. Maya's tactics were brutal and efficient. She used her speed to position herself perfectly, unleashing devastating broadside salvos while minimizing exposure to Stronghold's desperate return fire. The battle was short, lasting less than an hour, but it was a maelstrom of fire and steel. Maya's gunners were relentless, their accuracy devastating. The Stronghold, engulfed in flames and riddled with holes, was doomed. The cruiser Maya expended 1,270 rounds of ammunition, a relentless hail of destruction, before Stronghold finally succumbed, sinking beneath the waves. Survivors, their spirits shattered, were plucked from the wreckage by the captured steamer Bintohan and later transferred to the victorious Maya. But Maya's bloodlust was not yet sated. That same night, Maya, alongside her sister ship Atago, found and sank USS Pillsbury. The battle ended in a thunderous triumph for the Imperial Japanese Navy, with the obliteration of 2 Allied destroyers, further crippling their naval presence in the Pacific. It was a dark and harrowing time for any Allied ship daring to sail these treacherous waters. Maya continued her merciless rampage. In March 1942, alongside her sister ships Atago and Takao, Maya unleashed hell on an Allied convoy. For 90 brutal minutes, her guns spewed destruction, sending the Australian sloop HMS Yara and 3 other vessels to their watery graves. As the war's flames spread, Maya became a naval artillery piece. The cruiser sailed into the heart of the Guadalcanal campaign in 1942. On a moonless October night, Maya's guns tore through the darkness, raining 450 shells of fiery retribution upon Henderson Field. The climax of her Pacific rampage came during the Battle of Santa Cruz, when she helped sink the American carrier USS Hornet. But the chaos of war is unforgiving. In November, after another fierce bombardment of Henderson Field, fate struck back. A crippled American dive bomber, in a final act of defiance, plummeted into Maya's port side. The ship groaned as explosions rocked her hull, igniting ammunition and claiming the lives of 37 brave sailors. Despite the devastating blow, Maya endured, retreating to safer waters to mend her wounds. The American fleets, bolstered by their powerful carriers, began to turn the tide. Maya, once a symbol of fear and destruction, found herself on the brink of obsolescence. It was clear that only drastic changes could restore her to her former glory, ensuring she remained a force to be reckoned with. Initially designed as a heavy cruiser, Maya was built for the brutal head-on clashes of surface combat, her 20-centimeter main guns and torpedo armaments ready to unleash hell upon enemy vessels. However, as the war progressed and the skies filled with the roar of Allied aircraft, the Imperial Japanese Navy had to adapt. The growing threat from above demanded a shift in strategy, and Maya was at the heart of this transformation. By 1943, the IJN realized the critical need to bolster their fleet's defenses against the swarming American carrier-based aircraft. The decision was made to convert Maya into a dedicated anti-aircraft cruiser, a move that would redefine her role and capabilities on the battlefield. The transformation was drastic. Maya's 2 rear turrets, which housed 4 of her powerful 8-inch guns, were removed. This significant reduction in her main battery firepower made room for a drastic increase in anti-aircraft weaponry. In place of the lost turrets, Maya was armed with an additional 12 7cm 40 Type 89 dual-purpose guns, capable of targeting both aircraft and surface threats. These were complemented by an increased number of 25mm Type 96 anti-aircraft guns, deadly against incoming aircraft at closer ranges. But it wasn't just about adding more guns. Maya's anti-aircraft fire control systems underwent a critical upgrade. Improved radar and fire control directors were installed, enabling her to track and engage fast-moving aerial targets with lethal precision. The ship's superstructure was also modified to provide better fields of fire for the new anti-aircraft batteries, turning Maya into a fortress, bristling with anti-aircraft weaponry. This transformation shifted Maya's primary mission from surface combat to fleet air defense. Her new role was to provide a protective screen for the fleet against air attacks, a task that became increasingly vital as the Allies' air power dominated the Pacific theater. Maya's enhanced anti-aircraft capabilities allowed her to play a crucial role in defending the fleet, even though it came at the cost of her surface combat prowess. Yet, the war's harsh reality meant that Maya's new role would be short-lived. The Battle of Leyte Gulf, fought between October 23 and 26, 1944, was a cataclysmic clash that would become one of the most significant and pivotal naval engagements in history. This epic showdown between the Imperial Japanese Navy and Allied forces marked a critical turning point in the liberation of the Philippines, aiming to sever Japan from its occupied territories in Southeast Asia and choke off its vital supply lines. Admiral Kurita's massive task force navigated the treacherous Palawan Passage, setting its sights on General Douglas MacArthur's landings at Leyte Island. The fleet consisted of 5 battleships, 10 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, and 11 destroyers. MacArthur's U.S. 6th Army had begun landing on the beaches on October 20th, using 420 transport vessels. If Kurita could reach them, they'd be shredded to pieces. Kurita's master plan was an audacious surprise assault. Maneuvering multiple Japanese fleets through the narrow straits of the Philippines, he aimed to strike Leyte from the north with a devastating blow intended to crush the American Pacific Fleet and turn the tide of the war. Success would immortalize them as the hammer that shattered America's hold on the Pacific. However, this bold strategy met some unexpected foes: USS Darter and USS Dace. These American submarines, prowling the depths, stumbled upon the massive Japanese fleet on October 23, 1944, and immediately relayed its position to Allied command. Yet, merely passing the information wasn't enough. They closed in to unleash their fury. The ensuing submarine assault was a whirlwind of chaos and destruction. 2 subs against a colossal armada. USS Darter unleashed a salvo of 6 torpedoes at Kurita's flagship, the heavy cruiser Atako. 4 hit their mark, the explosions thundering through the sea and shaking both Darter and Dace. As Darter's commander later recalled, Atako was engulfed in, quote, a mass of billowing black smoke from number 1 turret to the stern, already sinking by the bow. Chaos erupted among the Japanese vessels, unable to identify the source of the sudden, brutal attack. Amidst this turmoil, USS Darter let the first 2 ships pass before locking on to the third, mistaking it for a Congo-class battleship. In reality, it was Maya. The fire control team swiftly calculated ranges, bearings, and angles. Determined not to miss, Darter fired all 6 bow torpedoes. Maya was obliterated, sinking in an instant. Aboard the battleship Yamato, Admiral Ugaki watched in horror as the cruiser was torn apart. The cacophony echoing through Dace was the sound of Maya's bulkheads collapsing, her hull crumpling as she plunged to the ocean floor. From her early triumphs against Allied ships to her transformation into an anti-aircraft platform, Maya embodied Japan's desperate attempts to stem the tide of American naval and air power. Her final moments in the Palawan Passage, when American submarine torpedoes tore her apart, mirrored the capitulation of the empire she served, a swift and devastating fall from seeming invincibility.